Welcome to the Broken Baker, where crimes are baked in every show. Mysteries rise and truth unfolding. Ready, set, it's time to go. We sing it's time to go. Whistling clues, battering news, mixing stories, solving the lies. In this kitchen, secrets are broken with a spark in our eyes. In the Broken Baker's kitchen, the secrets crumble, lies don't rise. We'll sift through clues to find the rules with a spark in our eyes. The broken rise, broken rise. Welcome to the Broken Baker. Get ready. Let's go.
I'm Jimmy. How y'all doing?
The most important people in this case that everybody seems to have forgotten in this room is the jury. So we're going to take a 15-minute break and both sides take a pregnant pause and think about the jury.
Well, welcome back to waiting for another trial to start. This one with the most annoying elevator music wait tone ever. So I'm just going to mute that because that was annoying to listen to. And we're back again. Baker's back. Tell a friend, hit the like, tell a friend. Hey, Jackie from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Hola, Justin. Thank you so much. I like it when you tickle my like button. Crispy, how are you this fine morning? Give us the rub on this case. Well, this is actually not a really good case. It's a young girl out. I believe she's out running. February this year. She's a nursing student. She was out jogging around the University of Georgia, and her body was later found in Oconee Forest Park. Blunt force trauma and asphyxiation. This have garnered a lot of heated debate, and I will be monitoring chat very much. I hope you're all grown up enough that we can watch this without getting into political arguments, because the suspect is a illegal alien in the US, and a lot of people have talked about it during you just had an election or something in America, and want to do that, make that a part of this case. She's dead. She don't care about his migration status. So I don't want to waste hours discussing that, but he was arrested. He's been charged with 10 different charges: felony unaliving, malice unaliving, false imprisonment, aggravated assault with the intent to rape, kidnapping, peeping Tom. He's pled no guilty to everything, and it's supposed to take place starting Monday. But all of a sudden,
Let me read it.
Yes, sir.
all of a sudden, there was a hearing that wasn't scheduled that was announced yesterday. So this is what we are going for today. There's no subtitles on this stream. Just gonna see if I can find it one with subtitles, because I know people will be yelling at me for subtitles. Yes. Lawn and Crime is here. Amy, missed you. Hope you are doing great. I don't know because the trial isn't starting. The judge was giving some piece of paper. We don't know what it is.
I reviewed the waiver, initialed and signed by the defendants. And Mr. Kirby, in this case, is lawyer for this particular matter. Mr. Ibarra, I need to ask you, did you go over the waiver of jury trial and agreement to proceed?
Oh, so they want to go to a bench trial now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you go over that with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was it freely, knowingly, and intelligently signed and considered?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about your decision to waive a jury trial in this case?
No questions.
Have you had enough time to talk to your lawyers about that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if I grant this request, it cannot be revoked by you going forward?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Fedorowski, I will also block you. If you want to talk politics, not in chat. I remove the comments. Don't talk politics. She's dead. She doesn't care if he's from Venezuela or Vancouver.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Kirby, let me ask you on the record, have you had sufficient time to go over this waiver with your client?
I have, Judge.
And can you say collectively, you and the other defense counsel, are you all in agreement with your client's decision to make this election?
We are, Judge.
Is there anything else you think I need to know on this subject?
Not about.
If you want to sit and talk politics, yes, I will block you. Or you can just go watch it on another channel, come back when it's not about. I don't see what the politics will change for this young girl. Maybe I don't get it. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I just don't want half the chat sitting here saying, well, it's because then the next trial will be, why did the pew do it? I don't want it. I thought I made it clear, but I'll just don't cover it if people can't watch a trial about a murder without making it about politics.
Not this matter, Judge.
Ms. Ross, anything?
May I inquire, I know it may seem quite silly because the defendant is incarcerated, but stranger things have happened. Would the court please inquire to make sure that the defendant's age and the fact that he's not under the influence of any drugs and or alcohol at the time today or at the time that he made that decision? And I'd also like to inquire, I understand that Mr. Kirby does speak Spanish, and I know
I didn't block him. I said I'll remove his comment. I didn't block him. I said I don't want politics here. I can end the stream. You can go watch it somewhere else. Not my problem. If people want to sit and talk politics, I'm out of here.
that they went over the form and have discussed this with their client, and just want to make sure that he either did it in Spanish or with an interpreter or both when he discussed this matter with his client.
Mr. Ibarra, are you under the influence of any sort of drugs or alcohol today?
No, Your Honor.
Were you under the influence of drugs or alcohol when you considered the waiver of the terms included in this form?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Kirby, could you describe how did you translate with the assistance of Ms. Smith, or how did you discuss this with Mr. Ibarra?
Judge, what I can tell you is that the form was translated and we reviewed it with Ms. Smith, who is an interpreter for the court.
And then, were you present when that took place?
I was.
Is it your belief or understanding that she translated it to the client in an appropriate way? I mean, do you have any-
I don't have any reason to think that that was not done, Judge.
And I ask you because I understand you speak Spanish.
I understand, Judge. Without getting into my fluency of Spanish, we brought Ms. Smith in for a reason. I am not qualified.
Stephen, you can discuss that. I think I made it pretty clear. The politics I don't want to discuss is this has nothing to do with border policies. Yes, you can always discuss, should he have been let out of prison? Should he be in the country? A young 22-year-old girl. Let's be frank. This case, for all of you who really want to talk about, is it Kamala or Trump who owns this? Let's be honest. This 22-year-old girl was beaten to death with a rock after possibly being raped. Then she was strangled. Where, other than he shouldn't have been there? No. Neither should the guy who unalived the two girls in the Delphi case. He also killed two people. Neither should Garcia have been killed. I don't know who killed him because we can't figure that one out. Ashley Birchmore, who was killed by a red-blooded American, old Army guy, Navy guy, whatever he was. All these people are dead. This person beaten to death. Gonna watch, hopefully not on screen, pictures of a young girl who wanted to be a nurse, who had her skull caved in with a rock. What part of it do you really want to turn into a politics matter? You can talk about the prison reform, that's fine. But it's not about border policies. It's about sick people doing heinous crimes. And if you would rather discuss which politician bears the brunt of it, no. If it's this guy and he's found guilty, he's the asshole who did it. He's the guy who took a beautiful 22-year-old and molested her corpse. Has nothing to do with his legal status. Well, if he wasn't in the country, then we didn't have the case. That's correct. But you have more than 1 million people crossing a year. I don't think it's Kamala. I don't think it's Trump. I don't think Trump would have saved her. I don't think you can blame Biden. And it doesn't matter. This young woman will never, ever cross a border because she's already crossed the river Styx. So shouldn't we try and find justice for her? Then you can go vote for your next election. Maybe it's just me who think it's kind of stupid to want to discuss politics about that when a young girl has her skull caved in with a rock. I don't talk politics on this channel. If you want to sit here and say, yeah, I'd like shrooms because it's good for microdosing against PTSD and veterans, or, oh, we shouldn't have it. I don't care. But I don't want this to turn into a case where everyone is just sitting here saying, well, if you didn't vote for this asshole, and I don't care who you voted for, both of them are probably not going to do anything. One of them would raise your taxes, the other one would lower it. In 4 years, you'll vote for someone else. It's a 22-year-old girl who will never vote for someone again. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter with the politics. This case is about a 22-year-old girl who was strangled and beaten to death. If we can't do this trial without that, I'll take a couple of days off. It'll be fine by me. Probably lose a lot of supporters because I don't want to sit here and yell about it. But that's fine. I just don't want to talk politics when a 22-year-old girl had her skull caved in with a stone. I'll make fun of a lot of things, but let's give it a chance first.
To tell you exactly what those words were. It was reviewed just like in any other case with a certified
I need to
court
put in this red out.
and court interpreter. And we have stated that Mr. Ibarra has stated that he understood it. We have stated that we've gone over it with him, and I'll leave it at that.
What else, Ms. Ross?
That's it, Your Honor. May the parties have an opportunity to discuss scheduling with the court, and that can actually be in chambers if it pleases the court.
Yes.
And Crispy, thank you for that. Because you can have, I don't say it's not because one or the other. Let's just not discuss it. Because it'll turn into you are an idiot because you don't see it the same way as I do, chat. And I don't think it's worth it. Let's see if we can find justice for Laken Riley instead.
Thank you.
We can discuss that. I also recognize
Yes.
that Mr. Kirby has filed a follow-up motion for continuance on the true or legal issue. Is that true?
That's correct, Judge. I think that it would be very similar to what we argued at the motion, but given the court's order on that, I have a feeling I know what the court is going to do. We just want to.
Yes, he just asked for a bench trial. So now they are trying to figure out if they should do it. Put up a warning banner. Well, I think it's in the description as well, but I can do that.
Renew that motion.
Well, and I understand your obligation to do that. I can appreciate that. I think it's appropriate that if we probably need to address that now on the record. Have you had a chance to see that? I just saw it this morning.
I did see it, Your Honor. In the state's position on it, I think we have a little factual disagreement about the timing of matters. I'll repeat my position on the motion to continue, or at least putting all of the dates in context for the court. In the terms of the true allele DNA results in this case. So the very first true allele report in this case was issued in April of 2024. That report was not disclosed to the defense until the very first round of discovery, which came out in May of 2024. So as of May of 2024, everybody is on alert that this is that some of the results, not all of the results, because some of the results are traditional DNA, some of the results are YSTR DNA, but there are also true allele results in this case. And so in May, everybody was aware that we have true allele results in this case. The true allele testing continued because this case is not yet 9 months old, so things were continuously tested. As things are tested and as reports became available, they were disclosed to the defense. The very last true allele report in this case was issued in September of 2024. It wasn't until the last results were issued in this case that the GBI could disclose and give to everyone, the state, meaning the prosecutors and the defense, the raw data that was produced as a result of the true allele testing in this case. And that raw data was timely subpoenaed by the defense. The prosecution in this case, in order to assist the defense, in order to get it quicker, also filed an open records request because we're permitted to do that in an open case. We worked together, defense and prosecution, as quickly as possible to make sure that they got the raw data as soon as they could. The raw data was produced to them in October, I think it was October 11th of 2024 is when they obtained the raw data from the true allele results in this case. And so I put all of those dates to the court in context for the court to consider this ruling. But it was known in May of this year that we have true allele, and the true allele was part of the DNA testing done in this case. And I will leave the court with that knowledge and those timelines and defer to the court.
Yes, bench trials will be streamed. We saw that in the Quinton Nixon trial. That was a bench trial as well. And just, I know it has spurred a lot of politics. That's why leave politics to the politician. This is to find justice. There has been, this case have moved goalposts. And that's why leave the politics to the politicians and justice to the courtroom.
Yes.
And Judge, I appreciate the state's position, I guess, that we would have known that this was a true allele case. But in speaking to the experts and speaking to the attorneys that are more knowledgeable than I am about this subject, the reports that are turned over to the defense, the one-page reports that give the results of those tests are not what experts can analyze. And so I agree with Ms. Ross, and they were very helpful in trying to get that information to us. But the actual time that we have.
That's one of the things that they were supposed to have a hearing on yesterday. Was they found cell phones with a lot of evidence on them, as far as I understand it. I didn't do the deep dive, but I looked into some of it, and they tried to push out DNA evidence and technical data. So I think no matter who, what, I don't think a bench trial will save him. I think it'll be a faster trial.
Had the data that can be analyzed and evaluated by an expert is insufficient for us to hire that expert or to have them looked over.
I will deny the request for continuous.
They have a video of him and his fingerprint on the victim's phone and other DNA trying into the case. Attorneys argued to have a lot of it thrown out, and the judge denied it. Yes, because they wanted to technically say they didn't have a search warrant where the search warrant they executed when they found this evidence wasn't for this. So they wanted to say they had to throw it out because it was ill-gotten gains or whatever you will call it. But you are allowed to, if you are serving a search warrant, to go into a house and maybe look for, I don't know, YouTube related stuff. Maybe you're going in to do a welfare check on some children and you see pew-pews and fun powder lying around. You can still get that, even though someone will try and kick it out. So they found a lot of stuff that they tried to kick out, but the judge has ruled it in.
What I've already stated in this order, but I understand your need to request it. But I will deny that. Let me.
Yes, and you also have to be aware that I think it was one of your founding fathers who said, if you want to give up a little bit of freedom for safety, you will lose your safety. Because a lot of people are saying, well, let's just do this. And as an inhabitant in a socialist country, I can tell you we give up a lot of freedom, and that make it really hard to go against tyranny.
State for the record that I do find Mr. Ibarra's waiver for jury trial is made voluntarily based on testimony here today, as well as.
No, I won't block you. I will remove your comments.
The statement that he has been provided, apparently he signed today.
I will remove your comments still. You, and again, I know that there's a lot of DAs that people point fingers at. Is it going to get Riley more or less justice that these? Then indict them after. Vote them out. Do all the bad stuff to them. This case is about Riley. It's not about all the other stuff.
In the presence of his attorney. I will leave it to you all. I'm willing, if I think we do have the option to go into chambers and discuss scheduling matters. That would be all it would be, to try to figure that out. If there's something else, let's talk about it down here. Obviously, I'll give you a chance if you want to speak with your client to make sure he understands and there's no objection about us recessing the matter in open court and resuming upstairs to try to deal with timing of this.
Yes, Your Honor. That works for us.
It seems like very cramped.
That works for us, Your Honor. I'm just making sure that that has been interpreted to the defendant so that he knows and he's okay with us going in the chambers to talk scheduling.
That's what I just related, Ms. Smith.
Okay, all right. I recognize that there are people here that need to know about the timing, but I want to be able to have this discussion in a meaningful way. I will tell you, you're welcome to stay, and I'll have a report back down here as to anything that's relevant, which the most relevant thing is going to have that in mind. So, I'll be glad to make that statement. Also, let me say, I recognize, I said this when I first started this morning, as you can tell, we're experiencing some significant physical issues dealing with this plant, this facility, that happen. This is the best court setting that we have available in the courthouse today. Hopefully that will improve, but that's just sort of a day-by-day thing. I don't, all of that started happening this weekend too. So certainly I know that it impacts all of you and how you come and go and what you plan on. That's the other thing that we'll talk about upstairs, is where I think we'll be and how we can do that and that sort of thing.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see upstairs in 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Give y'all a chance to get there.
Everybody remain seated in the courtroom at the time, please.
10 minutes. I would say.
What? That was very short, but let's read this one because let's learn about it. Just to see what it is they believe they have on this guy. Chilling new details has emerged about the murder of Red Rum of nursing student Laken Riley as Georgia state prosecutors prepare their case against the Venezuelan migrant. Jose Ibarra was captured on various video cameras around a female student's dormitory at the University of Georgia on February 22nd. Prosecutors have argued in court documents. The UGA dorm near Millridge Avenue extension leads to the running trails Riley used the morning before she was unalived. Prosecutors also claim fingerprints matching Ibarra's were found on Riley's phone. He was later found with scratches and other injuries just one day after her body was found in a wooded area near the school's intramural fields. He appears to be a man seen in a video dumping bloody gloves and a bloody jacket with long dark hair on it less than half an hour after she was unalived. But the suspect had pled not guilty to the young woman's Red Rum, aggravated assault, kidnapping, and other crimes associated with her unaliving. His lawyers argue much of the evidence against him is unreliable or was unlawfully obtained without probable cause. The attorneys claim officers had no reason to suspect he committed a crime when they detained him and are asking a judge to suppress evidence. That has been ruled against. The lawyers also wrote in court documents that the thumbprint found on Riley's cell phone contains incomplete data and did not produce a match to any of those belonging to Ibarra during the initial comparison with his known prints. DNA evidence did not exclude, but also did not exclude another known individual associated with the case, the attorney argued, according to the Journal Constitution. They are also asking for the trial to be moved out of Athens Clarke County, claiming jurors will not be impartial. Probably that's why they're going for a bench trial. But prosecutors have hit back at the claims, insisting that the suspect was detained lawfully under reasonable suspicion he was involved in Riley's death, and saying that the evidence against him was probably corrected and should be presented to Athens Clarke County jury. The prosecution is also pushing back on Ibarra's request for a peeping Tom charge to be tried separately to the 9 charges he's facing for her unaliving. Prosecutors claim both incidents are part of Ibarra's single continuous plan to assault women, as they laid out the suspect's alleged whereabouts on February 22nd. They said an unidentified University of Georgia student called 911 just before 8 a.m. to report that someone peeked through her dorm windows and was at her front door near Millridge Avenue Extension. University police responded just a few minutes later, but the perpetrator was already gone. By 9:10, Riley, an Augusta University College of Nursing student, called 911 from a cell phone at a location less than 1,000 feet from that dorm. That call, the last outgoing from her cellular phone, was disconnected by the defendant, Ibarra, prosecutors claim. These incidents are connected by time, location, motive, and items of evidence. Just about half an hour after the phone call, text messages and phone calls to Riley from her mother went unanswered. The worried mother then launched a search, and her roommates went looking for her on the University of Georgia running trails. They called 911 to report the nursing student missing just after noon that day, and about half an hour later, university police found her lifeless, beaten, and partially unclothed body in the wooded area near the Intermemorial Fields. Officers said her unaliving appeared to be a random attack, and announced the next day they were looking for a Latino male seen in video footage near the female student's dorm and at a dumpster of an apartment complex less than half a mile from where she was unalived. An at the Clarke County Sheriff's Office sergeant patrolling Ibarra's apartment complex later saw in public, in plain view, walking in the apartment complex in broad daylight, a Latino male who was wearing the identical hat that was seen in the dumpster video. The man in the hat identified himself as Diego Ibarra, Jose Ibarra's older brother, and allegedly gave police a fake green card. He then allegedly led the officers to his apartment, where Jose and another brother, Argenis, were also located, and he called for backup. Another officer who then arrived on the scene noticed that Jose had scratches and injuries on him, prosecutors said. He was then arrested on an outstanding warrant, and his apartment was searched later that day. Prosecutors now saw Ibarra hit Riley in the head, asphyxiated her, and pulled up her clothing with the intent to rape her. Now say, not saw, say. He is facing charges of malice murder, felony murder, kidnapping, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, hindering an emergency telephone call, tampering with evidence, and peeping Tom. So that's what this case is about. And it seems like they do have something there. But Hey, Karen Cole. It is a peeping Tom case also. He wanted to separate it out, but they let it be in there. And I don't know what's going on with the feed, but it's blinking a lot. I need to figure out a mac and cheese recipe. If you have 1 or 100, DM them individual to Baker and he'll pass them on. Please don't. Make pasta, pour cheese over. Voila. General question about phones taken with warrants. Why do the police have to break into them? Should access password not be included in the seizure papers? You have a Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate yourself. So you don't have to. The police, it's the same. You don't have to open the door. You can just accidentally lose your key, and then they will have to open your door for you. When you open the door and say, "Hey, we have papers," yeah, they can walk in there. But if you don't want to give them your password, you don't have to, because you can end up like Sarah Boone, giving them all the evidence they need to hang you. Make them work for it. I haven't seen the DP. They can't. The judge ruled on that yesterday. They wanted the phone out, they wanted the DNA out, they wanted the fingerprint out. All of it was ruled against. They are allowed to mention it in the case. And now I really don't know what's going on with Law and Crim, because it keeps oh, you can't hear it. It keeps flickering in the back. But I'll probably not be back today and start the case, because it's going to bench trial. And now if it's going to a bench trial, he's even more effed, because the judge has ruled it admissible. So this judge already made a determination that it's good evidence. It's another thing if the jury can weigh and say, well, yeah, we were shown, but we don't really think it's okay. Yeah, he's toast. What the hell's going on? But that's not how America runs their justice system. Then you'll have to change that. Justice for the victim is what is important. Yes, it's, and again, justice for the victim is not just to let someone fall, it's letting the right one fall. He doesn't. He has an interpreter. Yes, I can understand that, because there was a lot of damage done to this poor lady. Didn't they say they'll be back in 10 minutes? Yes, you dreamt that. He said, let's meet upstairs so we can discuss it upstairs in chambers in 10 minutes. So, no, they're going to chambers to discuss the scheduling. I don't think they're going to come back today. No, he's not being charged with being in America illegally, because that wouldn't be a charge in this one. That'll be a federal crime. Wouldn't it be federal to enter the country illegal? It's not a state crime, because you have given your rights to defend the border to the state, to the federal government, because you can't enforce you can't even enforce your. In Europe, we can put up a border control. We can put on, say, Fedorowski can't come to Denmark because he's in Norway, and we want visas from Norway. We can put up a boundary, but you can't do that saying people from Georgia can't come into Kentucky, because you delegated that power to the government. We did kind of the same with the Schengen agreement in Europe, where we gave the power to Brussels, but because they never did it, we are still allowed to make internal borders temporarily. But I think it's a federal crime to enter the country illegally because it's not a state crime, because the state can't determine who's in the country illegally. I would think so. So have I. Yes. There's just nothing going on. So, I think it's a crime in that you can get deported, not criminally. Yeah, but you can be banned for a number of years. It's like when I don't know how you do it in Norway. When we deport people, I think normally we will put, I think the lowest you can get is 3 years. You can't come back, and they'll be back next week. I'll just take the bus up because again, let's not hinder the people. Does he have all the same legal rights as a U.S. citizen automatically? I believe that the Constitution is still what runs your court system. So anyone charged in your court system in a normal court will be afforded the same right as any other American. I believe so. I'm not sure, but I think if I was being picked up for a DUI in Tennessee, I would not be sent home to Denmark to stand court in Denmark. I would have the same rights like any American citizen to defend myself. The government has seized all land right on the border, so the state right starts a few hundred yards in, depending on where you are. Does the Constitution say person rather than citizen? I never read it. Yeah, 3 years. But the funny thing is, we are independent nations. We're not state like Kentucky can't make a ruling. It has to be the federal, but we can do a ruling in Denmark or Norway where we say we don't want this person in here. Then EU can come in and say, but we think that they have a human right, so they can overrule us, which we have a lot of problem with. We have people who have been extradited, warned about extradition 12, 15 times, but can't be thrown out because they have rights. I can't. They couldn't even get the Al Qaeda people with a military tribunal. Probably technically, but how? I don't see it. It's the law of the land. The law is where you're from. Murder is a state crime unless committed on federal land or something like that. Yeah, but it's the law of the place you're being charged. It's another thing because let's say I was being charged with witness intimidation in Massachusetts because I said Doink is an idiot. Massachusetts law. He could try and charge me with that, which, because of the crazy way the Massachusetts law is with witness intimidation, he wouldn't get me extradited because the Danish law is different. So they won't extradite me for a non-criminal offense in Denmark. So it has to be 1-to-1. But if I've been living in Massachusetts and doing the same thing, I would be charged under Massachusetts law and would then be afforded the same right as any Massachusettsian. Because as long as I'm not there, I have the right of people in Denmark. But if I was in Massachusetts, did the crime, I would be charged according to. Look at Brittany Griner, who had the great argument for bringing drugs into Russia, but it's legal at home. That's not how the law works. There is no pax americanus. where America decides what's the law. She brought weed to Russia. That should be an automatic fail on your civics exam. If you think that's probably a good idea to go flying with weed in my vape pen, because what could go wrong? Because I live in California where we can do whatever. You couldn't even fly to half the other states in the union without getting in trouble. And you then chose a dictatorship because I'm just saying, think you about it. Hey, David Blair. Hate crimes are federal no matter where they happens. I don't know. Whatever happened to Doink? He was on video with Aiden the other day. He no longer uses a shoelace for a belt. He still needs a belt, but he's not using a shoelace anymore. Yeah, but again, some people will. It's the same. Dear Americans, I love you. You're good people. Could you please tell your celebrities, Europe, when they're saying we are moving to Europe, we are a lot of different countries. If you say, I want to move to England or Norway, Norway is a beautiful country, hella expensive, but beautiful. I want to come to Denmark, probably a good thing. But Europe is also Ukraine or the Balkans or Belarus, or as we call it, White Russia. So when I see all these Americans, celebrities, and I'm moving to Europe, you do know we are different countries and we have different rules. And I'm pretty sure most of the things you like to do in California probably don't try it in most of the European countries. I know you believe that you're outside the law because you're famous and stuff like that. But even the son of the Norwegian future queen just got in trouble because he was dealing out a few equal rights and equal lefts and doing a little bit of the good Colombian. So I love it when they say, I'm going to Europe. It's like them saying, well, I'm going to Paris. I want to go see France as well. We are very different countries, and you should probably check up on, first of all, tax laws. Move to France. France have a law where is it something like 70% they tax people with an income over 1 million euros. They tax them like 70% or 75. I can't remember how much it is. Probably don't want to live there. Probably don't want to go to Poland because Poland has really, really strict laws about the LGBTQ. And you sure as shit don't want to go to Bulgaria. Try going out there and say, I support trans right. Probably not a good idea. So just check up where you're going before you move, because Europe ain't Europe. We are not we're not one country. We're very different countries. Yes, come to my house and I'll teach you about Europe. We don't want them. We have stupid people here too. Just seems expensive for foreigners on vacation because they have lower salaries at home. When we go abroad, our house salaries are very cheap though. Yeah, but you stole our oil money. Well, it worked out for her because even though she lied on her immigration form, she didn't get in trouble. We are all descendants of immigrants. I am not. My family has been here since before we had cities. So I'm not an immigrant. I am a true born Scandinavian. But everyone is migrated from Africa back in the day before we were human erectors or whatever they call us. They have been proving distractions to bigger picture for a very long time. They just believe they are something they're not. They are not important. I'm 5 feet 10 inches female. No envy here. Oh, you're as tall as I am. Just come to Canada. We are we're easy to find and very nice. Yeah, and a lot of Hollywood elites have mental problems, breakdowns all the time, and you have a pretty efficient way to fix that. 8 meters, and that's pretty tall. Yeah, you didn't pump it up. I can see people moving around in court, but where in Europe? I just want to know where in Europe you're moving. Don't move to Bulgaria. Are we going to start today? No one want to go to Canada. Half the country thinks they're French. I can go to the real France, and I don't like that. Well, maybe day one starts now. I don't know.
Smith. She's in juvenile court. Does she know we're waiting on her?
No, she said if we need to get her.
Well, then, did you get her? Okay, thank you.
And our victim's family's coming down as well. They're on the stairs. Our victim's family's
I
also.
want to move
Okay.
to America.
Don't know where they are.
Okay, thank you.
In Denmark, you can be put in prison from burning a book, a certain book from the Middle East that we can't mention. So, yeah. No one tax laws, and it'll be a hassle. They asked for a bench trial. So that was the motion, was they wanted a bench trial. So jury trial's out. They have been up talking about scheduling, so we're waiting for them to give us a decision on the bench trial. Well, Lars Løkke, our former PM, who is now our foreign minister, wants a job with the UN, so he had to suck a little pee-pee in the Middle East. So they made it illegal because we had the weirdo who goes around and burns that book. So we made it illegal in Denmark to burn that book.
I expect it will be held unless there's some change. I'll let you all know if there's a change. It will be held in my normal courtroom, which is on Thursday. Go off that Friday, and then
we have an artist who every time she makes she's Iranian, so every time she makes a piece of art, she uses that book or parts of it, and then sends it to the justice minister and asks her if she's allowed to do it following the law, because no one can interpret the law. So they still haven't given her answer. What is in seemly conduct with that book?
and pick back up Monday and then into next week as needed.
What?
And pick back up Monday. I expect it will be held unless there's some change. I'll let you all know if there's a change. It will be held in my normal courtroom, which is on took off that Friday, and pick back up Monday and then into next week as needed. I've got some things I want to take up with the media, but is there anything else that you all have on your mind about that?
No, Your Honor. Just for planning purposes on Friday, are we going to go to 5 p.m. or 6 p.m.?
5, but I will look for a natural break. I mean,
Yes,
if it's, I'll try not to stop in the middle of anybody's testimony. I'll try to finish up, but I'm looking for a full day.
Yes, oh, yes, sir. I just didn't know if you wanted a
I'll
full day
probably want
plus.
to go to 6 on Friday. Friday is also, there'll be other things going on in this town, and so people will be looking to get out of town and find a place to stay. Anyway, so.
Till 5. Thank you, sir.
Anything else we can do?
Not from us, Your Honor.
Okay. And y'all are welcome to stay where you are. I'm going to ask if you will invite the media that is out there in the hallway to come in, please.
We have all these breaks, so are we gonna start today or what? Yeah. The defendant is Venezuelan. That's why he has an interpreter, and this is from Atlanta, Georgia. I think they have a bad signal, that's why.
All right. So some things have been brought to my attention that I think you all need to hear, that we're not going to have anymore. That is trying to talk with the defendant, trying to talk with the lawyers, trying to talk with the family, and certainly any witnesses that come around. I don't want any attempts at conversation with any of them in this courthouse. I can't control outside this courthouse, but I understand this happened today, and I don't know who it was. I didn't ask that. I will tell you, this is the first time I've had to make this sort of admonishment in the few times that I have dealt with this. Not just in this case, it's been pretty reasonable. It may be a function of the close quarters we have, but don't misinterpret that. It's still important for me to maintain the integrity of this process. So I'm asking and expecting you all to abide by that. Are there any questions? Okay. Thank you all. Court's adjourned.
Everybody just remain in the courtroom just for a second, please.
When is it adjourned?
2 o'clock.
Yeah, you want me to?
Are we starting today?
Okay.
What? What, if any, has happened? Trying to see if chat has anything over here. What? Is it starting on the 18th? Does it start today? When does it start? Yeah. No, they was talking about going late on Fridays. No, they asked, when are you gonna break? And she said 5 or 6. And he said, I will try and keep it. I'll try and break at somewhere between 5 and 6 on Fridays, 5 o'clock, because something else happens and people want to get out of town for the weekend. That's what I heard. Fridays was this just a hearing? Are they going to start today? Are they going to start tomorrow? It was supposed to be a hearing They're supposed to seat the jury tomorrow, start Monday. But if they're going for a bench trial, they don't need the jury tomorrow, then they can just start tomorrow. No, he said Fridays 5 o'clock because something happens on the weekend. What? Huh? The district attorney declined to add the DP. No idea why.
Today, you all need to hear. Friday, and Fedley will be held unless there's some change. I'll let you all know if there's a change. It will be held in my normal courtroom, which is on Thursday. And we'll go all day Friday, and then
he says something
and
Friday.
back up Monday, and then into next week as needed. I've got some things I want to take up with the media, but is there anything else that you all have?
It starts 9 a.m. on the 15th, so that's Friday, right? So it starts Friday. Thank you, Ola, because hopefully we'll get a better feed by then. Yeah, I don't know. I like this judge. He's yelling. But it's a little annoying when we, oh, this is the YSL trial because I saw another feed for it and how is the other one going today? Then we'll do that tomorrow.
So then anhydrous crystals will basically, when you paint it onto the paper surface, this being a cardboard surface on the interior of the roll.
So this got stupid. It's 5 o'clock. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break now. I'm going to make my I'm gonna take a break now and make myself some dinner. Then we do have the McKinley Louis Ma, which we normally speed run. But because Karen Reed is also in court tomorrow, we can't do the full speed run, even though it normally takes like 3 hours to do all 7 hours of that. I will come back in 12:30. I will be back. I'm going to set up a stream for that. I'll be back at 12:30, and then we can do at least the morning part in the Louis Ma, McKinley Louis Ma. We can do the morning part of that tonight and see how it goes. So we won't get too far behind because we'll have Karen Reed tomorrow at 10. Shut up. Isn't that what we're going to do? I think that's what we're going to do. Because is this day 6? Yes, this is day 6. We did day 5 on Sunday. Gonna do day 6, at least morning part. They must be close to ending this case. At least the state must be close. I'm gonna set it for 6:30. Upload thumbnail. Come on. It's getting so slow. And create live stream. Yeah, I think that's. Thank you. No, I'm gonna eat the rest of my my beef soup from yesterday with a little garlic bread to it because I like that. And yeah, then I'll be back in roughly an hour, and then we can speed run the at least morning part of the Louis Mark case because I'll have to get to bed because I have a stream again at 11 tonight. So yeah. The time notifications will show in your local time. Yeah, and don't think about my time. It's just because I'm talking to myself. It'll show up normal as it always do wherever you live. Soup actually is best the second day. You should just make it and then let it sit for the day for the night. 12:30. What is that in real time? That's 6:30 our time. So that judge is a UGA fan and he's mad about losing last weekend. I don't know what a UGA is. Yes, everyone go out there, get something to eat, blah, 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 YouTube things. See you in about an hour for another trial. 3 trials in a day. You don't get that many places. Even for a man in my age, I am impressed by myself. Thrice a day, and I will be back 4th time tonight at 11. Oh my.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
Checking your other.
So you literally built a cannon